But I just want to say thank you on behalf of Musaholic magazine for meeting with us today. Um,
Yes, yes.
so my name is Layla Brodbeck. And what is your name, pronouns, and location? Or like based.
Pretty much my name is Shaw Calhoune. I'm sorry, Shaw Calhoune, coming from Silver Spring, Maryland.
All right. And when is your next release date for music?
I just had it released yesterday. My new EP, Fly Langston. It's 7 tracks. It's right now. It's exclusively on Bandcamp, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll jump onto like the major streaming platforms in a couple weeks.
All right. Um, and so through email, I believe that you had mentioned that it was kind of inspired by the Harlem Renaissance.
Yes, yes. It was inspired by the Harlem Renaissance. You know what I mean? During the 1920 days, even like we even broke it down into the track listing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
uh, it's pretty much just a making of a zoot suit.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much it's like button up, it's the button up shirt. Killer Diller is the type of coat, like the blazer. Full Hunter is the watch. Scarlet stained leather, that's pretty much that's a shoe. Yeah, basically each track was leading up to it, but by a zoot suit during that time. That was like a popular suit during the time during the Harlem
Yeah.
Renaissance.
So, was that kind of any sort of symbolism for it? Like, was that kind of like almost like a hidden meaning behind something else in the songs, or?
No, this pretty much just our ode to the Harlem Renaissance. You know what I'm saying? That's definitely has an effect on me because I do consider myself as a rapper slash poet. So I definitely want to give credence to the ones who did it before I did. You know what I mean? And Langston Hughes is definitely one of those guys.
Yeah, of course. Um, Sorry, just trying to think. Um, Sorry, today's hectic. Um, so what are your kind of goals with this release?
Pretty much my goals with the release is that hoping that it'll inspire a lot of young people, you know what I mean, into like not necessarily do what I do. I mean, hopefully I would like that too, but it's like the spark in their brain that pretty much they could change the world. And they pretty much are the foretellers of the future. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So I hope this album will help them, you know, to understand that. I hope it influences them into whatever they're doing.
to kind of inspire them in whatever way.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, what would you say was different recording this release than like other stuff you've recorded?
The only difference was it was no profanity. It's not a hard thing. It was a challenge that I took upon. I definitely wanted to do because I considered that as like another thing to mention up under your like your MC notch. You know what I mean? You could do a whole full project without profanity. So that was like a cool thing, a
Yeah.
cool challenge to accept. Yeah.
Did you go into it knowing that you didn't want any profanity or?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Um, and do you, I mean, I know obviously numbers aren't usually what people are worried about, but do you have any sort of goals with it?
No, I didn't really compare the numbers. I mean, hopefully it'll get to a good amount, but I don't have a exact number right off the bat. You know what I mean? I just hope it just does well. You know what I mean? And just keep it because really, we're big Illinois, you know, and myself is all about just pushing positivity. So long it could be 5 people or 10 people longs, but then those 5 to 20 people, or however you want to call it, with that small amount, or whatever you consider as a small amount, long as the positivity is bouncing back and forth within that small group.
Yeah, of
So if
course.
that happens, that's like a goal for me.
Yeah. Who would you say kind of inspires you the most when it comes to music?
My favorite rapper of all time is Nas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my favorite rapper of all time.
And was there so obviously since the Harlem Renaissance kind of inspired this project, was there like did you I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it. Did you like go into it knowing that that was what you wanted to do, or did it kind of just develop over time?
I know I wanted to go in there, and that's what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? Beforehand, before I even write it, I get with my guys and we talk about like which path I want to go. Well, basically, I always come up with the plan, but they kind of like makes it a little bit more clear. And then when I do go back and write, it's like so I know exactly what I wanted to talk about. So going into recording, I was already ready to go.
All right. Um, and then trying to think. Sorry. Um, is this kind of is this going in sort of like a different direction from your past stuff?
Yes, I'll say so. Definitely, like I mean, all my projects go like are different. None of them are the same, but this one is definitely stood out the most in terms of from a creative standpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was definitely community based. You know what I mean? All my other projects were just basically me. I mean, it wasn't like just a hardcore gangster or anything like that, but more so I was focused more so on like the lyrical side of it. You know what I mean? I still was being lyrical on Fly Langston, but I was more like carrying a message.
hmm Um, so do you have any dream collaborations when it comes to music?
Oh yes, yes, yes. I would like to work with Alchemist, the producer. I definitely would like to work with him. Another producer I would say I'd like to work with is Chuck Strangers. I don't know if you're aware of him. He's in the pro era with Joey Badass or whatnot, but he's a dope producer. Definitely like to work with him. As far as musicians, I'll say I definitely want to do a song with Anita Baker. Yeah.
Um, and then so have you played any live shows or are you hoping to get to with the new album or release?
I've before the new release, I have done a few, but pretty much after the release, I plan on doing more.
hmm
I have one next weekend in Lancaster, PA, on the 10th. So, guys who's ever in Lancaster, be on the lookout for that. And then I have another one the following weekend. So,
All
yeah,
right.
still within the same area, Lancaster, PA. Yes.
Staying busy. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so how have you just been using mainly like Instagram and stuff to promote, or have you been using any other sort of platform to try and gain any traction?
Basically, yeah. To answer your question, yes. I just only use social media. That's Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. You know what I mean, to be exact.
hmm Um, so
And then I'm sorry to cut you off. I do a little bit like physical promotion as well. Go to record stores, let them know. You know what I mean? Show to open mic spots. Shake hands, kiss babies, do all that kind of stuff. So
course.
yeah.
Um, so do you kind of have like a group that you kind of roll with, or is it kind of just you like kind of on your own?
Just me and my manager. You know what I mean, Danny No, and the two guys who I work with, Ben Ross and John Smith. Then also I got a couple guys who I rap with, Laura Sin, Goldie the Natural, Tyler. You know what I mean? But but right now we're all separate because we're all got our heads down, focusing on our own things. But we kind of link up from time to time.
hmm so what would you say, like, how did music come into your life? Have you always like grown up around it, or was there kind of a moment where like you got into music?
Now I always say I pretty much was born into it. To be honest with you, music was always a part of my life, even when I was a kid. You know what I mean? My father and my mother was a big music fan. You know what I mean? And definitely, it's like a key ingredient to like my like what how I create and the stuff that I choose, like from the beats and all that stuff. Is pretty much from when I grew up. Like my father, he was more of like a '70s fan of guys from the bands in the '70s. Like Earth, Wind and Fire, Commodores, Barcades. Guys like that. And then my mom, he was a little more current at the time. This was like '90s, but he was a big Jodeci fan, Boys to Men,
hmm
um, Blackstreet, Brownstone. So like both of those influences definitely impacted on, what I'm saying, me becoming influenced in music and then me creating music as
Yeah.
well.
So it almost comes intuitively, probably,
Yep,
because
yep,
it's so many different influences, it sounds like.
yeah. And then also myself too as well, because like at an early age, I pretty much had like a like I was like an old soul,
Mhm.
pretty much. That's what my family always told me. They said I was always old soul, so I always had like like a thirst for like old vintage stuff, whether it was sports, because I'm a big sports guy too as well, or music. So
Yeah. Do you have, like, a favorite lyric off of the new release? Or
yeah. I'm speaking for the soul, but the boss is all factual. That's a pretty much like
Mhm.
a
Yeah,
nice strong.
that has a
Yeah,
nice flow to it. It's nice.
yes, yeah.
Um, honestly, I don't really have any other questions, um, which is good. We kinda got through that, like, really quickly. Um, but is there anything that you kind of want to advertise or promote while you're on here? Because this.
Yeah, always strive and prosper. Nothing wrong with chasing perfection, but also you're human and always push positivity and do everything 100%.
Of course.
That's like a lot of my things I like to push.
Mhm. Um, and you had said that you really just hope to inspire people, so,
Yeah.
um, hopefully hopefully that happens with this release. I I haven't gotten the chance to listen to it yet, but I probably will literally, like, right after this. Um, it's just been a crazy day. Uh,
I understand, but that's a good thing. I understood though. Yeah.
yeah, but, thank you so much for meeting with me.